name is Philip Beck, the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, and subscribe. And ring that little bell. So you're notified when new videos drop. I have been watching War of the Worlds, and I've been wanting to watch this production of War of the Worlds for well over a year. I've been very excited for it arriving. I love War of the Worlds. I like steampunk. I love that Victorian era with science fiction elements put into it, which you'll probably guess when my new comic book comes out, hopefully in the next month or so, called Crown of the Empire, which is essentially the British Empire with spaceships and lasers and monsters and all things we love. So I was looking forward to this for a long time. It has been insanely delayed. It was supposed to air last Christmas, and the special effects work on the Martian war machines was just too complex. They couldn't get it done in time. But my first question is this: if you waited all the way till November, you're like in November, and you've got this massive prestige television season, the Christmas season coming up. Why not just hold it for another month at that point and put it on as part of your Christmas lineup? This is a very Christmassy fair. Well, not really. I mean, but I think this Christmassy stuff is disaster movies, and the like. You know what I mean? So didn't really understand what they did, but okay. And the second problem, I think one of the brain problems they ran into in adapting this is making it relevant for a modern audience, and there I think they missed the mark in a couple of ways. Firstly, the big problem they have is there's no real women characters in it that play like a prominent role, so they had to beef up some characters. Big Finish had the same issue when they did their adaptation, which I think is actually far more successful. Best adaptation is it was an Indiegogo I backed. It was so late. It took them like a good year for them to get it. They were a year behind before I got it. Called by Sherwood Sound Studios. That's the most accurate one. I really recommend it. Stars, what's the name? The guy from Merlin, Colin Morgan, as whatever his name is, the main guy. So they had a problem where they needed to bring in female characters, and again, it's suffering from being a bit 2019. So for some reason, they made the main character be estranged from his wife, and he's living with this other woman who he's intending to marry at some point when he can divorce his wife. So that doesn't happen. They called it living in sin, and that wasn't a compliment. It was living. It was something that people didn't do openly in polite society. I believe in Victorian or Edwardian England. I don't think they did it in like 1950s, let alone the 1890s. But okay, fine. And then they switched to make her the protagonist for the last third, shall we say. And it's the last third that it really goes off the rails for me. The reason it goes off the rails because the first part especially is pretty close to the book. Again, I love it that they did it in the period setting. That for me makes it sing. And they made subtle changes. They filtered the science fiction elements from a modern day perspective as opposed to a 19th century perspective. So in the book, you have like these giant torpedoes, these bullets, that land on Hounslow Common, and then the top unscrews itself, and the Martians get out. In this, it was like a giant musket ball that did this weird spinning special effect before they emerged. That was a change I could live with. I think that enhanced it. I think that made it a stronger production. And then when they wheeled out the heat ray, fantastic. Normally when they do a heat ray, they have to show like a kind of laser beam effect. But here they just have people setting on fire. You saw like a heat haze. That was very well realized. The only other time I saw it done that well was in Alan Moore's League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, which is the second volume, and it was pretty much exactly how they did it here. I like that a lot. And then as it went on, it started to deviate more and more from the book. One of the most famous parts of the book is called the Thunderclap. The Thunderclap? Thunder something, where a steamboat plows into a Martian war machine as it's walking through water, and destroys it. And it gives hope to the huddled masses that that these things aren't indestructible. So they do something similar to that, where they bring down the tripod, and again, looks fantastic. It was a great moment in the drama, and I think it did a pretty similar thing that that it originally did in the book. But again, it was about from then onwards where it went off the rails. I would say the second the middle third is about life under the Martian occupation, which is pretty different. They change the setting. They get rid of that bonkers soldier guy who barrels down into the earth, and who are they? They had him play. He was played by Tim Robbins in the Tom Cruise version, which was other than putting in a modern setting, that was a really faithful adaptation. But other than putting it in like modern day Boston, it really, really, really works. I'm kind of in the mood to watch that again now. Maybe I will. So, um, so they change the setting, and they kill off the main character, so his lover can become the main character. And so at that point, it starts going. It veers too far away from the book for me, and you get this ecological parable where the Martians have been defeated, in the way that they're defeated in the book. And they die of. Well, no, in this show they die from eating people, whereas in they just get they didn't work out their immunity system properly. They all die from a cold. In the Alan Moore version, the best thing they did was they died from a bioweapon attack from Dr. Moreau, who had been like splicing like different germs together, and then they put out the official story they died from a common cold. That's the best way to to pull the rug out. And you know what? Well, I would love. Now we live in the age of the streaming wars. League of Extraordinary Gentlemen seems to be really ripe for an adaptation, because them doing a War of the Worlds, which again was the second book of that, would be just fantastic, wouldn't it? And it seems to me if they did it right, that would go pretty well. So, but yeah, so they get into this whole I would say clumsy climate change ecology parable, and it really doesn't work. Okay, one of the things I liked about the book was they have a whole section called "Life Under the Martians," where they're terraforming Earth. Oh, something else they did on Tom Cruise version, which I don't think they did in the book. I can't remember. Was when they were harvesting people. They grabbing people. They were then like grinding them up and doing some sciencey thing to them to like spit out this red mist, which will cause the all this like red weeds to grow, which so that they can terraform Earth into be like Mars, because Mars will come with red weeds. That's why it's red. That's that's a level of like science they had there, which I find charming. So I don't think that was part of the book. I can't remember now. Blimey. I should have looked up before I started. So, but they got into this ecology thing where the Earth has been tainted, like irrevocably tainted, and then what's his name? He was a villain in a good James Bond movie. The one who was shot in the head, and so he couldn't feel pain. One of the last Pierce Brosnan, not the last one, the last good Pierce Brosnan one. I can't remember his name. It was in Once Upon a Time as well. Why don't I just look up War of the Worlds cast? Let's do that. War of the Worlds 2019 cast. Let's have a look. Who his name is? No, that's the wrong one. Gabriel. But there's a new Fox version. I really got to check that out as well. But here it is. Adapted from War of the Worlds. It's got 69% on Rotten Tomatoes, but it's not giving me a cast list. So let's see if this is the right one. Elizabeth McGovern. No, this is Gabriel Byrne one. 1 second. War of the Worlds British TV series, starring Robert Carlyle. Robert Carlyle turns up, and he has a way to cure the Earth of the ecological damage. Robert Carlyle plays the scientist friend from the beginning. Yeah, for a book that I really love, I can't remember anybody's bloody name, but he plays the scientist friend. Was it Ogilvy? I think it's Ogilvy. I can't remember. But and he turns out he has a way of curing the Earth of the blight that the Martian invasion has inflicted on it. But the establishment, as represented by the surviving vicar, tells them not to do it. So again, I think that's kind of a heavy-handed climate change, global weather catastrophe analogy, and it just didn't work. It just seemed shoehorned in, didn't really work, and completely unnecessary. And for me, I made it from something that I would love and cherish and go back to something I'm never going to go to. Yeah, I'm never going to go back to it. Never going to watch it again. I was going to buy it on Blu-ray, but yeah, I'm just, you know, I understand the need for creators to talk about something. I just wish they had worked out how to do it without lecturing us. Now, it wasn't as heavy-handed and as poor lecturing as we see in things like HBO's Watchmen or the Chris Chibnall or Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who. It was at least it had some like narrative bite to it, but it's very 2019, and 2019 I'm just sick of being told what to think by other people. Just entertain me. Shut up and entertain me. And that's what this really should have been. So, and they lavished so much money on it. What else can I think to say? Ralph Spall was very, very good as the protagonist. Rupert Graves, who was from Sherlock, and he was also in an episode of Doctor Who with Matt Smith. Dinosaurs on the Spaceship. He was also excellent. Again, just about everything in it was excellent, apart from the direction he went for the last third. It was just so boring. It's so freaking boring in 2019. But I think we got a lot more of it to come. Not a complete fail, but something that could have been successful and a miss because of it. Let me know what you think. My name is Phil Beck, and the Rabbi from Another Planet. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. I did broke 200 subscriptions. I'm really excited. So I guess let's go for 3. Yay! What have to? Have to get up to 1,000 before I'm monetized. Well, that'd be nice. I hope I get monetized before they stop monetizing people. That could be the exact same millisecond that they stop monetizing when I get monetized. Anyway, but please like, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. If you violently disagree with me, if you loved it, just go ahead and plop your comments down. I will probably respond. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great day.